Uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
This is an island surrounded by water, big water, ocean water. Trust me, I'm like a smart person. I'm very consistent. I'm a very stable genius. I had the best words. Tolerated. I know words. Mike Pounds. I hope they now go and take a look at the oranges of the investigation. But there's no better word than stupid. Anonymous, really anonymous. I'm very highly educated. One of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water. Had the best words. God bless the United States.
Around the nation, Waldorf Nation, welcome to the show, everybody. It is Monday, the start of a brand new week, and we've got some drama. Fun drama stories. Also, some very serious stories that we're going to get to as well, including Tennessee ending the right to vote for protesters, some very significant threats, and we have, of course, a man who was shot in the back. Black man, of course, by police, and that's causing a lot of protests. So we're going to talk about Jacob Blake. It's another unfortunate story that we have. And, just another black man in America getting shot in the back by police. Of course. So all that and more. Kellyanne, Conway. We got a great exchange between Stuart Varney and a guest he had on the show. I love that segment, so you're going to enjoy that as well. And Liberty University. Jerry Falwell gets cucked. Literally. It's fantastic. Hello to YouTube. Hello to Facebook. Eric Halverson, welcome. Thanks for watching. Appreciate that. Please like and share if you haven't already. Same to you guys on Facebook. On YouTube. YouTube, Facebook. You're all amazing. Thank you. For tuning in and watching the show. We're going to be here for the next hour, so stay tuned. It's going to be a great show. Con job down, absolutely, Goku, just saying. By the way, we've got a birthday. Adrian Benningfield, happy birthday. That's awesome. So, I don't know how old you are. I'm not going to ask. That's rude. But happy birthday anyway. Hopefully it's an excellent one. All right. So before we get into the stories, I just want to give you a little bit of an update. We are literally like a fifth of the way, 20% there to hitting our GoFundMe goal to try to raise money for a better streaming computer so that we can stream a little bit higher definition and, get things done faster, clips up better. Not so many errors and things like that. So please donate. It's in the link. Links in the description of this live stream. All right. Let's do it. Oh, by the way, for some of you talking about this in the chat.
I like my meat tight. Tighten up my meat.
And tight it will be. At least the stories. The stories are tight. I'm just going to refrain from making Ben Shapiro P-word jokes, okay? I could do the whole hour, but then we wouldn't get any of the stories done. So let's dive in. All right. We start with drama. So there's a little bit of drama involving the family of White House counselor Kellyanne Conway, her husband, who was the, of course, anti-Trump Lincoln Project co-founder George, and even their more progressive teen daughter Claudia Conway. So you have a really interesting situation here with a pro-Trump Republican who's serving in the White House, a never Trump Republican who is literally running a super PAC to try to get Trump out of office, and you've got a progressive liberal all in the same home. And that's at a time where political polarization is at an all-time high, and you've got 3 months until a very contentious election. So it's almost as if this situation could be repeated. Well, not the exact same situation, but a situation that could be repeated in households all across the country where you have families that are disagreeing at some very fundamental levels. Of course, this is a lot bigger because you literally have Kellyanne Conway working for the president, or, well, she will stop working for the president very soon at the end of the month. So again, it's in that context that we talk about the family literally falling apart due to partly, I think, this. And so it's been announced that the family has has started to take a step back to try to sort themselves out. So that's interesting. And so now, first, Lincoln Project co-founder George Conway announced on Twitter Sunday evening that he would be stepping down from his position. And so he will not be doing the Lincoln Project anymore. I don't know if he'll be tweeting, maybe not. The Washington Post also reported on Sunday evening that Kellyanne Conway said that she would be stepping down from her position at the end of the month. So is it appropriate to do this?
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Down goes Kellyanne Conway. Down goes Kellyanne Conway, kind of. I mean, yeah, she quit. And so as a result of her family issues, and interestingly enough, even Claudia Conway, who's prolific on Twitter and TikTok, because of her, her parents' views, she's also saying that she's going to take a break from social media. So what we have now is a complete and utter withdrawal of the Conway family. And so now the question that I'm curious about is how much is it actually about politics? Personally, I'd say quite a bit. I mean, politics as of late, I don't know if you guys noticed, but family and friends have been getting ripped apart. I mean, look, you got people embracing insane conspiracy theories, going down the right-wing pipeline, the rabbit hole, talking about how like COVID-19 is a hoax. I mean, personally, yes, I've lost a couple of family and friends as a result of just that. And a lot of that is driven by politics. I mean, conservatives have taken an issue, in this case, a deadly pandemic, and turned it into a political football. And so, yeah, it's hard not to lose friends and family members who go down that pipeline of insanity, which just put people at risk, people's lives. And so, yeah, even if they're saying, oh, no, it's not politics specifically. No, I just want to go back and spend some time with the family. Well, I think politics is definitely at the heart of this. Now, Conway wrote of her husband, this is Kellyanne, quote, "We disagree about plenty, but we are united on what matters most, the kids." Okay, and they actually have about 4 children, I believe. And it's just that Claudia is the most outspoken on social media. Now, she said, "Our 4 children are teens and tweens and starting a new academic year in the middle in the middle school and high school that will be conducted remotely from home for at least a few months." So interestingly enough, your kids can go back to school, but my kids, well, they can, they're going to be long distance learning. Oh, that's great. Now she adds, as millions of parents nationwide know, kids doing school from home requires a level of attention and vigilance that is as unusual as these times. Well, of that, that's the one thing that she says is, yeah, okay, that makes sense. She says, "This is completely my choice and my voice and time. I will announce future plans, a tell-all book about Donald Trump that's going to, sell millions of copies, probably end up on the New York Times bestseller list, where she will probably, and this is my prediction, she will probably out herself as that anonymous person inside the White House that was secretly writing all of these op-eds against Donald Trump. I mean, watch for it. Watch for it. You don't think it's Kellyanne Conway? It has to be her. I mean, I would be surprised if it was not her. I mean, she would be perfect for it. Because, of course, on the outshoot, she's like, oh, yes, I'm going to say anything Donald Trump tells me to for personal gain. But on the inside, I'm going to cast myself as a resistance hero. So then later on, I will be rehabilitated by the Democratic Party. Watch it. I know. I don't actually know. But it's a guess. And I'm you know what? I'm going to hold to it. And if I'm wrong, it's a good guess. It's a good guess. We'll see. We'll see. All right. So now, again, let's finish up the rest of her statement here. She says, for now and for my beloved children, it will be less drama, more mama. Speaking of drama, again, that drama follows that family around pretty constantly. At least it has. I mean, let's be real about this, right? She did ask for that drama. She took a job in the Trump administration. I mean, not just as a person in the background, but literally as the mouthpiece of the most openly corrupt administration in modern history. What did you expect? Really? The alternative facts? You are the person that literally coined that term, alternative facts. So, I mean, again, no surprise. That said, right? So Claudia, the 15-year-old daughter, she comes out and on social media, she says this. She says, y'all love to twist everything. I'm not getting oh, by the way, she's getting emancipated from her parents. That's kind of a big omission. I almost kind of buried that lead right there. Okay, I apologize for that. So she goes and she says, I'm getting emancipated. Wow. Okay, that's kind of a big deal. But she says, look, it's not because of politics. It's not because of my mom's job. No, it's because I have suffered years of childhood trauma and abuse. Well, that is very, very problematic. And likely both, George and Kellyanne looked at that and said, oh, God. Oh, no, we have to do something about this. And alternatively also said,
uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
Yeah. And so, all right. So that was kind of a major thing. So, look, here's the thing about that, okay? I think a lot of this is politics related. It's not just related to, of course, it's not her job specifically. You have to understand, politics is not just it's actually a big part of who you are. Your politics really kind of defines who you're going to be as a person, right? So if you have a politics where, fuck everybody else, I don't care about you, I hate everything, that is going to help other people, generally you're not going to be a very kind person. I mean, I don't think of you as a very kind person. That's just me. Okay. And so maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe it's all about, no, you don't understand. I like my family. I like my immediate family. I love them. But I hate everyone else. And I don't think you should have healthcare. Fuck all of you. It's all about me, mine, and my tribe. Okay. Maybe that makes a little bit of sense from a conservative standpoint, but still generally not a good person. So I guess you could treat your family pretty well and be hypocritical when it comes to everybody else. Okay, sure. But here's the thing. Again, on Kellyanne, I do think that she's kind of a ghoulish person. I mean, you got to be kind of that way if you want to take a job in this administration. I'm sorry, but yes, if you take a job in the Trump administration, you are a ghoul. You are not a good person. You are not looking out for the best of America. You are looking out for yourself. That's why Donald Trump, ironically, I hired the best people, the greatest people, tremendous. How come if you hire all the greatest people, they're all getting arrested all the time? Weird. Not the best people. Okay, definitely not. That said, right? So now it is kind of related to her job. Because later on, in another tweet, she said, I am devastated that my mother is speaking at the RNC. Yeah, you would be devastated. There's got to be some politics in it, at least, right? So, look, the thing is, going back to how ghoulish of a person she could be, the ease of how well Kellyanne Conway can lie and obfuscate and attack and blame, super scary. Super scary. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And so, yeah, this doesn't surprise me that they would have a lot of family problems. And look, they're going to need a lot of help. And I know it seems like it's like, you know, you're kind of a bad person for dragging out their dirty laundry, and it's a really sad situation. Look, you can talk about hypocrisy. You can talk about who these people are in their core, because their actions, they are literally put in positions of power. And she has used her position of power to lie and gaslight the American people, American families all over the country, and people all over the world. So understand that it is kind of relevant how, they treat themselves, their family versus the rest of the world. And so it wouldn't surprise me at all to see this kind of family drama, and especially to see it unfold in such a public way. Okay. We got more family drama, by the way. This is not the only one. Okay. It's some crazy stuff. And I'm sure, some will be like, well, you wouldn't want your family drama, like blasted all over the news, right? Look, it's one of those things that goes back, like I said, to hypocrisy, right? If you're somebody who didn't want that limelight and you had all sorts of family problems to begin with, then maybe you shouldn't have stepped in that limelight if you weren't prepared for the consequences, and also, to be taking such terrible positions while you're in that position of power. And so, just saying. All right, more family drama here. We're going to Liberty University. So we have a little bit of an interesting story about Jerry Falwell Jr. It appears that Falwell Jr. is exposing a relationship, in a way, throwing his wife under the bus, that she had with a pool boy who was apparently trying to blackmail him, according to Falwell Jr. So again, there's a lot of moving parts, I think, to this story. And so, look, Jerry Falwell Jr. He's the president of Liberty University. It's a very right-wing school, very religious organization. And so that means, of course, there's going to be plenty of dirty laundry. Now, I didn't think the amount of dirty laundry would take up a whole laundromat, but here we are. So let's try to go through and make as much sense of this as we can, okay? So now, this comes from Falwell Jr., who spoke to the Washington Examiner. And so he comes out and he says, look, man, I've been super depressed. And here I'm going to throw my wife under the bus and explaining why, and also why I was in some weird photo with my zipper down, and, getting caught in all these embarrassing events or situations, right? So as I said before, there was that photo with Falwell and his wife's assistant, pictured with their pants unzipped and their stomachs exposed, where you can still, and I'm sorry for putting this into your head, but you can see his undies, right? So now I don't understand in what world that a picture like that would be a good idea. Why would you do that? I mean, even if you're not the head of a religious organization, why would you allow that picture to happen? That's weird. Very weird. Especially since, like I said, head of a Christian organization with a very strict moral dress code, you wouldn't get caught dead in the halls of Liberty University with your pants unzipped. I'm just saying. It's so strange. All right. So now Politico did point out, I don't know if they're trying to be kind or they're like, oh, yeah, hey, you know what? It looks like it was a parody of the Trailer Park Boys. Now, when asked about that, Falwell was like, whatever. Wait, no, that's your out. And be like, we were totally doing a parody of Trailer Park Boys. Now, that, of course, would admit that he knows what Trailer Park Boys is and has possibly watched it, which, if you guys know, if you've ever seen that, not exactly a Christian-friendly show. I'm just saying. So, again, this blows up as stories like this often do. And so he tells the Examiner some of the details and says, I cannot believe all this stuff has happened, and now I am depressed. Well, why don't you go pray about it, dude? I mean, that's kind of what you do, right? Just go pray about it. God will take care of that, or not. Okay, I know I'm mean. So now let's get into more details, right? So now Falwell Jr. claims that his wife Becky Tilley had an affair with a young man known now as the pool boy, right? Okay, all right. Now, the man in question has been identified as Giancarlo Granda. So now, in a statement, Falwell explains that during a vacation over 8 years ago, Becky and I met an ambitious young man who was working at our hotel and was saving up his money to go to school. Oh, it's one of those stories, right? Oh, this young man, I just wanted to help this young man out because he was very ambitious when he was serving us. Oh, okay. Well, this is fun. So now they said we encouraged him to pursue an education at Liberty University and a career, and we were impressed by his initiative in suggesting a local real estate opportunity. My family members eventually made an investment in a local property, included him in the deal because he could play an active role in managing it, and became close with him and his family. Yes, real close. You know, because he had the initiative to fuck your wife. Just saying, that's what happened. So now, shortly thereafter, he adds, Becky had an inappropriate personal relationship with this person, something in which I was not involved. He has to point that out. It was nonetheless very upsetting to learn about. Okay. The phrasing here is slightly odd. I mean, to me at least. That saying that very inappropriate personal relationship, something in which I was not involved in. Why would you need to add that? Obviously, nobody else thought that you were involved. Who thought that you were involved in an affair that your wife was having with the pool boy? Who thought that? Why would you need to bring that up? That's really weird. Okay. We'll get to that, right? Because I think there's a reason. So once the alleged affair was over, Falwell says, well, we tried to distance ourselves from him over time, but he unfortunately became increasingly angry and aggressive. So now allegations, right? Eventually, they said he began to threaten to publicly reveal the secret relationship with Becky and to deliberately embarrass my wife, family, and Liberty University unless we agreed to pay him substantial monies. Oh, so it's extortion, is it? You know, it's funny. They kept talking about his initiative, right? I mean, hey, going from pool boy to possibly very rich person while sticking it to Falwell's wife, hey, that's some initiative. It's also some rather big cojones. Like, damn. It's daytime television shit. So now the Examiner said that Granda, who was 21 at the time, again, young and taking initiative. I wonder, you know what? I wonder how old Mrs. Falwell Jr. was. I'm just saying. That's a question. That's an interesting question, right? So now Granda says, hey, any allegation of extortion is falsely defamatory and belied by clear documentary evidence. Well, I would love to see that documentary evidence. That would be very interesting. Notice how he doesn't, of course, say that he didn't have the affair, which again is very interesting. The Falwells attempt to sandbag me and the Examiner with a last-minute story without providing the Examiner clear evidence that this was not simply an affair with concocted allegations of extortion reeks desperation. The whole truth will come out. The whole truth. I don't know. I mean, well, we're waiting. Let's see the truth. I'm very interested in seeing how this goes. Okay. So look, let's be honest. Normally I would say I don't care about people's dirty laundry. I get it, right? Everybody's got something, everybody's got something a little bit in the closet, right? Maybe some skeletons here and there, sure. But the reason that we talk about Falwell Jr. and the reason that I'm okay with talking about it, right, is because the hypocrisy, right? So this is somebody whose main purpose in life, running Falwell Liberty University, right, is hurting members of the LGBT community, making them feel as if they are not human, right? Making them feel as if they are wrong and sinful and dirty, right? So he loves getting involved in other people's sex lives, okay? That's why I think, hey, you know what? If you have that position, you love getting involved in people's sex lives where you are not welcome. All right, well, hey, there's a story about your sex life, or I should say your lack of sex life. Then again, there is also a word for that. It's called being cucked. So Wright tends to use that quite a bit. But in this case, it's definitely applicable, or could be at least, if that is the whole truth that this man is talking about. So I don't know. But it goes back to, judge not lest ye be judged, right? Well, he loves to go and judge other people's sex life. If you're a member of the LGBT community, especially. And so, I mean, hey, where did I hear that again? It sounds kind of familiar. Maybe they would know about this. Again, I'm fine with talking about this. And also, I'm sure there's a lot more to this involving Falwell Jr. Again, the phrasing that sticks out to me is, I wasn't involved, and compare it to the whole truth will come out. So I'm pretty sure, look, nobody here would be surprised. Let's just say that. If it was revealed that Falwell Jr. is also involved with that pool boy, and that it's a big, big scandal. Now, here's the thing about that, right? Look, society doesn't care if you're gay or bi or pan or whatever, right? It's fine. Do you, man? It's all good. It's all good. The problem here is the hypocrisies, again, as I again point out, right? Your school exists to teach people that being anything but straight and cis is wrong and should be punished. That people who don't fit into those, into some very neat boxes or positions, right? In a thing that's actually more of a spectrum, right? Sexuality is a spectrum. Gender is a spectrum. They say that no, you don't fit into those very neat definitions of what we think is okay. You're wrong and immoral, and you should be ostracized from society. Well, I don't agree with that. That's why I think it's totally fair to go after these people. Not because I believe in having alleged threesomes or having gay sex is wrong. No, the complete opposite. I think it's great. I think it's fine. I don't partake myself, but even if I did, who the hell cares? It's not my business, right? But again, it's the hypocrisy of the situation. And so understand that a lot of what I just said is my speculation on what's going on. We don't really know what happened. Obviously, there are only 3 people that know the truth, right? And odds are one of them definitely lying. Can't wait to find out which one it is. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a break here. We're going to come back. We have some more serious stuff. We have an argument on the economy and COVID-19. That's a great one. Stuart Varney takes on Paul Romer. So who's Paul Romer? A badass, certified. So we'll get to that after this next segment here. And then we're going to go to some other things. Disaster stories about, of course, police shooting black men in the back. Keeps happening all over the country. So we got the newest one. Stay right here. Round the Nation. We'll be right back. Super chats. We'll read some channel members, and we'll do an update on the computer upgrade fundraiser. So stay right here. Round the Nation. Be right back.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
Tighten up my meat. I like my meat tight.
Why? You're getting nervous, man.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Around the Nation right here. Waldorf Nation. Oh man, the comments are great. A couple of member comments here. Goku Just Saying says she wanted to be part of a WAP Nation, and her husband wasn't doing that for her. Oh my gosh. That right there, that is a gift that keeps on giving. So good. Oh, I didn't get to do that story, by the way, but I think everybody else covered it pretty well. All right, let's see. Oh my goodness. Anonymous says, I know he knew he protested too much. Love is love. I agree, Anonymous. Thank you, Christophilus. Doing pretty well, actually. Boy, a lot of comments here from you guys. So it's on YouTube. Also, do like to read your comments on Facebook as well. Eric Halverson says, good for the pool boy. Yeah, hey, that's some initiative right there. All right. Also, super chats here from Dango Bango. A couple of them on Kellyanne Conway. She'll take credit for it, but it's not her. As far as being, of course, the anonymous official. No, that anonymous official is going to come out one way or the other. I think it's probably going to be her. I think she's most likely because everybody else who has spoken out, it's gone. It's gone. And now she's going to be gone. Again, family is a good excuse. That's for sure. And then also, Falwell Jr. is a cheeseburger-loving greasy wall. What is wrong with loving cheeseburgers, Dango? Really? I love cheeseburgers. Anyway, thanks for the super chats. All right, so patrons, patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. That's how you can help the show. I want to thank Brian White and Margaret Maxwell. Thank you for going and becoming a patron, supporting independent progressive media. Let's see. Channel members here, Paul Davidson and the Jinxana. Thank you for supporting independent progressive media by becoming a channel member. On Facebook, you guys can help by becoming a follower. Like and share the page. Become a follower. Help us get to 10,000. We are so close. We're just under 500 to go. Let's see. David, the Free Council says, I saw your Twitch stream this weekend running Remnant. I will be doing that tonight, actually. Hopefully. If everything turns out, I'll be running Remnant from the Ashes on my Twitch channel. It's twitch.tv/Jeff_Waldorf. Check that out. I keep forgetting to put the link in the description of the streams and videos. But if you want to check it out, I'm streaming with a couple of friends, or supposed to tonight. And we're going to play Remnant from the Ashes. So that is a really fun, underrated game. So check that out. It's going to be around 7 o'clock. Fast food kills. Yes, but I still want it. And I still love it. It's a vice. Besides, you can make your own cheeseburgers at home. And it's not much more healthy. So it's not that much healthier. All right. So let's move on. Let's go to the next story. You're going to love it. You love to see it too. Stuart Varney getting all upset. All right. Fox host and Trump supporter Stuart Varney was recently speaking with former World Bank chief economist Paul Romer. And he got a little bit upset at Romer for daring to call some people out in the administration for his lies. Take a look.
The virus caused this slowdown, and the virus continues to ravage the country. You remember 9/11? We lost 3,000 people. We lose that many every 3 days in this country. Remember the Titanic?
Okay.
1,500 people died. You know, we lose that in a day and a half right now.
But we are
you're
expanding.
not going to get a recovery of the economy until we deal with the thing that's killing so many people.
Okay, but look, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. Everybody understands what's going on here. We are expanding the economy, correct? We hit a low in the second quarter. We'll move up from there in the third quarter, move up some more from there in the fourth quarter, and, as Larry Kudlow says, strong growth next year. We're all on board with that, right?
All right, so I wanted to stop there because, I mean, you see the problem. Okay, and if you don't see the problem, let me explain it to you. Varney, like most Republicans, is perfectly fine with nearly 180,000 people dead from coronavirus. Okay? And look, he represents the mainstream Republican view. According to a new CBS YouGov poll released on Sunday, 57% of registered Republican voters say that the 176,000 people dead from coronavirus is acceptable. That's an acceptable number. Oh, yeah, we're fine with that. Totally fine. Not outraged at all. Acceptable. Oh, okay. Oh, that's great. Now, let's look at the vast majority of the American people, right? 31% of voters find that acceptable, right? 90% of Democrats say it is unacceptable, and 67% of independents say unacceptable. So, but the majority of Republicans, voters, say, oh yeah, 176,000 from dead from a virus, totally acceptable. Now compare that, of course, to a handful of people that died in Benghazi. Unacceptable. Lock her up. Lock up Hillary Clinton. Lock up Barack Obama. Lock them all up. Benghazi. Wait, okay, hold on. Let's look at 9/11, the other example. 9/11, terrible tragedy, right? And Benghazi, also tragedy. Of course, right? And so, hey, man, people, she lied, people died, right? That's what happened. Look, again, 9/11, 3,000 Americans dead. That's a horrible tragedy, okay? And nobody says that it's not. Yet, here we have a situation that after that happened, we invaded two countries, right? That was our national response, was invading two countries that had nothing to do with it. So, and then leading to, of course, somewhere around 1 million innocent people, innocent Iraqis, or somewhere around 500,000 innocent Iraqis and like 1 million people overall dying in the Middle East over 9/11 that, Saddam Hussein had nothing to do with. So that was our response to that tragedy. And it was led mostly by the Bush administration putting out phony intelligence. Yes, Democrats were on board. Democrats voted for it. Joe Biden voted in favor of the war. Let's not let him escape that one. But at the same time, this was Republican-led. And it was the Republican response to this. Okay? And so understand the difference. But when it comes to Americans dying from a virus, they don't care. They don't care. And so understand, if a tragedy doesn't help Republicans, A, either invade another country in the Middle East for their resources, right? Or B, if you can't use it against the incumbent president in order to win elections, then we're fine with it. We don't care. We're at perfectly acceptable death numbers. Which, of course, leads me to say that they are a death cult. Republican Party is a death cult that only cares about enriching themselves and their corporate donors. So, that said, let's go back to Romer versus Varney, right? I didn't even get to the best part of this, right? So he's just explaining, hey, look, Varney says the economy, but it's doing great, right? Well, here's where it gets heated.
We're recovering from a very deep recession, close to a depression. So we're not even close to getting back to normal.
Well,
and the other thing is, the core competence of this administration is dishonesty. So I wouldn't pay attention to anything that somebody like Kudlow says.
Well, wait, that's a bold statement. The core competency of this administration is, what did you call it? Is
dishonesty. Oh,
dishonesty?
Yeah. I mean,
and
look,
you can't believe something from somebody like Larry Kudlow? That's a hell of a slam, Paul.
Well, I'm just trying to tell you, this is the way I operate. I don't pay any attention to what Kudlow says. No serious economist, by the way, Kudlow isn't an economist, and there's a reason this administration can't hire a real economist, is because they only hire liars for hire. So, you get people who will say whatever the administration wants, but you can't get credible people. So I don't pay any attention to what Kudlow says.
I'm going to leave it right there because that was really insulting for many of the people who serve in this administration. And you branded them as flat out liars. I
liars for hire, yeah. And listen, this is just
no. What you're saying is really rather insulting, Paul. Liars for hire? Are you calling Larry Kudlow a liar?
Yeah, of course. He'll say anything that will help this administration achieve whatever its goals of the day are.
Kevin Hassett?
And listen, I deal in facts.
Kevin Hassett is a liar?
Upset by the facts. They have to just have to look. If you want to hear somebody who will tell you things that aren't true that make you feel good,
what was the
one
lie?
of their liars for hire.
And I got to tell you, Paul, I really don't like people who appear on this program being called liars by someone like you.
Well,
I don't like that.
Well, think about that when you interview Stephen Moore next.
I don't think you should do that. Well, I'll ask him. I'll ask him.
Oh my God. Nice. That was a segment. The nonchalance, he's just like, are you calling Larry Kudlow a liar? He's all incredulous about it, right? The guy's like, yeah. Hey, he's a liar. He's a liar for hire. That's what they do. I tell you what, somebody's not getting invited back because that was fucking great. I mean, again, it's all true. I mean, what has Larry Kudlow been right about in his entire life? Or, just to be generous, on screen, okay? Remember, this was a guy who was talking about, the market's very, very strong. I think we're going to have a great rally right before the, of course, 2008, market crash. He's not right about anything because he's not an economist. And that's the thing. He's a talking head on TV. And he goes on and he talked about, basically anything that the wealthy people in power, the people that are doing the stock trades, the donors, wanted him to say. He doesn't know a damn thing. Doesn't have a thought in his empty little head, except for how does Larry Kudlow make more money? I know I will take a position in the White House and make stupid predictions while I'm doing so. And so, look, understand that makes him, the perfectly suited for the Trump administration because he is a liar for hire. And so this guy's absolutely right. Paul Romer, little bit of a badass. Really like that. Just going on, Varney's show and being like, yeah, I think he's a liar. Yeah, I'm going to actually tell the truth. And I love, again, how he's just like, how dare you call the people Kevin Hassett, liar. Kellyanne Conway, liar. You work for the Trump administration. Guess what? You're a liar. Why? It's because that's part of the job. That's part of the job. That's what you're hired for, is to lie and cover for Orange Man. And that's it. That's it. And so, look, they ignore the deaths of hundreds of thousands of Americans. Like I said, over 176,000 people have died from COVID. It's going to be plenty more. But understand that they're putting out this narrative yes, but what about the economy? Ain't nobody care about the economy right now. Obviously, that's going to be something that we are going to have to fix. And that's what Romer had also said earlier in this in the clip. You should probably watch the whole thing. It's about 4 minutes long. I couldn't show you the whole thing. But he says, look, we need to worry about COVID first before we can rebuild the economy. And that's the thing that Republicans don't want to do because, well, they want to rebuild the economy now. Why? November. The election. It's all about the election. It's all about politics. And so what they're doing is they're saying, we would rather have you die from COVID-19 as long as it makes sure that we have good economic numbers that we can run an election on. And that's really what it's all about. And so, again, that's why I say they care about, economic numbers on a computer screen more than they care about people's lives. And that's why they are a death cult. All right. I think I'm pretty clear about that. All right. I know I do find some of the best sidebars, by the way. It's great. All right. So let's go to something super incredibly serious and disastrous. All right. Protests have erupted in Wisconsin after police shot and gravely wounded a black man in the back in front of his family. So now witnesses said the man, later identified as Jacob Blake, had actually broken up a fight before police arrived. Then the police arrived. Blake tried to, get in his vehicle and leave. Since the fight was all broken up, the cops were there and thought, okay, hey, I can leave. I can do something else. I can go back to my family. That's when police pursued him, held him, grabbed him by the t-shirt, held him, and shot him 7 times in his back. So now witnesses described the 7 shots, posted a video. I'm not going to show you that because it's deeply disturbing, and I'm sure you've probably already seen it so far, so you understand what happened. But I'm going to talk about some of the eyewitnesses who talked about this. So now one eyewitness talked to the Daily Beast and said that she saw a police officer fire his gun at Blake from point blank range. Very, very close, right? Quote, he just started shooting him in the back right in front of his kids. That's neighbor Adriana Orlenes. And by the way, this is a mixed neighborhood, which a lot of the other people who live there say, yeah, it's a relatively nice, nice, quiet neighborhood. There's a little bit of a fight between neighbors that happened that, Blake had came to break up. It was like, hey, break it up. No need to be fighting like this around. There are children around and, we want to keep this neighborhood nice. Well, unfortunately, the cops had to come in and make the situation, as they do, worse. Ornelas said she lives a block away and heard the sound of gunfire. She said that she witnessed the final 3 shots and noted that it was unclear if all the shots were fired by one officer. She said, I was so confused, I didn't know what was going on, and said that the scene had quickly turned chaotic, describing a group of officers rushing an officer who fired the shots into a squad car, which sped away. Who sounds like the thugs here? Who sounds like the criminals? Because it sounds like it was a hit on this guy. And now I know that's obviously what it wasn't, but I mean, that sounds like what happens when there's like a gang hit, right? And it seems like the police are the gang in this area, shooting a guy in the back after he broke up a fight, and then quick, get to the squad, go. No, Jesus. So now Dana Lorenzi, another neighbor, told the Daily Beast that Blake, again, had not been part of that fight, which apparently broke out around 5 p.m. outside an apartment block, right? Quote, he had nothing to do with the fight. He was like, I'm going to get out of here and get my kids out. So being a good parent and going and taking your kids and saying, let's get away from here. It's kind of dangerous. There are people fighting. And I don't want you to see that, right? So now, as it went around the internet, of course, this video and the story, you had some protests that popped up in Kenosha. Protesters threw bricks and bottles at police, and they fired back with tear gas, of course. Fortunately, somehow, Blake, after being shot in back 7 times, was still alive. Now, his condition is serious, right? but there are reports that he's going to make a very long, very difficult recovery, but at least he'll live. But nonetheless, this has, as I said, sparked some violent protest, and I'm going to get to the reason why that is. Now, first, I'm going to get to a spokesman for the Kenosha Police Department. Now, they immediately did not respond to a request for comment. However, the Wisconsin Department of Justice said the officers involved in the shooting had been placed on administrative leave. That's standard practice. And now they're doing an investigation. So here you have a shooting of an unarmed black man. Okay. A person who, according to witnesses, has said did nothing wrong. He's trying to leave. My guess is, again, he wanted to leave because he was afraid that the situation was going to happen, that the cops would pull up and shoot him for no goddamn reason. And that's exactly what happened. And, you know, I know there's the inevitable comments of, well, you should just listen to the officer then. And, okay, but you didn't do anything. How are you, like, under arrest if you didn't do anything? Like, and here's the thing. People, you got to understand that a lot of people in these neighborhoods end up having to play this ridiculous game of Simon Says, right, with the police officer. You guys remember how that goes. Daniel Shaver, white man, right? He also had to play the Simon Says game with a police officer who then shot and killed him. Even though he had no weapon, he had a pellet gun in his apartment, and he was crawling on the floor crying and saying, please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. I don't have a gun. Please don't kill me. And then his pants start to fall down. As he's crawling on the floor on his belly, he goes to pull them up, and he's shot, dead by a police officer. So that's what happens. Okay, that's what happens. And so when you say, oh, just listen to the police officer, how? Again, you're going to play this ridiculous game of Simon Says where your life is literally on the line. This is not the way that it should be, right? And sometimes people don't even get to that part, right? Philando Castile, sitting in his car, he said, look, I have a registered, like, I have a gun, okay? It's legal. It's in the place where you want me to go and reach, right? And so I'm going to tell you very carefully that I am going to reach in this area to get my get my identification to show you that I am a legal gun owner. Please do not shoot me. And so he reaches and he gets shot anyway. So you understand that even if you follow and try to do the best you can to make sure that the police officers are comfortable with your presence and what you're doing, there is still a very good chance that you're going to get shot and killed. And so, again, that's why we say it's bullshit. Okay, the guy didn't want to play that game, and we understand that. And again, he was shot in the back for it, and understand that is why the community is up in arms. That's why people are throwing bricks at the cops. Okay, now his mother says, "Please don't get violent," right? And there's understand, like, do you think a white woman would have that same reaction if her child was shot? I don't think so. Black women, black mothers of people slain by police, and wives as well, right, or girlfriends, have had to sit there and have the most composure out of anyone I've ever seen, because I guess in a way they're required to, because you don't want to be labeled the angry black woman, which is, of course, was what happened, what would happen in a lot of these circumstances. And so they show this composure that is, I'm just unnaturally strong. When in that situation, they're afraid for their lives. And they, in the case of Philando Castile's girlfriend, right? She had to sit there as her boyfriend was bleeding out right next to her in the car, and put her hands. I'm just placing my hands on the steering wheel, officer. Please don't kill me. I'm going to do everything that you say, and I'm going to play this Simon Says game as a person that I love is dying right next to me. That's what black people in America have to go through, and not just black people in America. Overwhelmingly, yes, but you also white people have to deal with this too, because it's not just racial. Yes, it's mostly racial, but it's also component of power. Socioeconomics plays into this as well. And I'm not trying to be reductionist at all, again, because this mostly affects people of color. But I'm saying it's not just happening to them. It's also branching out into people of lower socioeconomic statuses who happen to be white or other races. But again, mostly, for the most part, the records bear it out, mostly happens in black neighborhoods because they over-police those areas. So now, that said, the community totally up in arms, and that's why they're doing, of course, protests, right? And those protests were kind of ripping up the city. There was a small group of people that set a garbage truck on fire just outside City Hall and outside a police station. People were smashing windows. And so, yes, you had that violence. And again, understand why. Because this is a person that was murdered, like, you know, by what is essentially a gang in this point, right? At this point. I mean, one of his neighbors, Dan Shanky, who was a 68-year-old man, says, quote, "He was good people, a family man who took care of his kids. I just called him bro from the first time I met him," signifying that, of course, he's a very friendly person. Okay. And Sankey says that he had been the neighborhood block captain for the area for about 8 years, previously managing the apartment complex outside which the shooting occurred. He got to know Blake because he lived across the street and said that Blake was a fixture of the community in the summer. He would play outside with his kids and would even mow his neighbor's lawn occasionally. And so here we have just a regular person, a good person, shot for why? Walking away from a police officer, shooting him right in the back. I mean, that's a good enough reason to get people to riot. Okay, if you're, hey, you know, you want riots? That's how you get riots. Understand that people don't just riot for no reason. Okay, that's not a thing that people do. Okay, there is a reason that these communities are up in arms. It takes a community and a group of people taking so much, having to put up with so much to get them to a point where it explodes. It builds up and it builds up and it builds up. And then the community just blows up. And so, I mean, for example, going back to Chanky's, he says, "This is the first bad incident in the 20 years I've lived here. Something happened and all hell broke loose." Yeah. Again, people are absolutely fed up with this. I mean, this situation right here, and it's happening all over the country. As I said before, there's another shooting of a black man. Again, in the back. This happened in Lafayette, Louisiana, where a man walked away from police officials and again was shot 11 times in the back. This was Trayford Pellerin. And so police were responding to a report of a disturbance involving a man with a knife. And we don't know. I don't know if Pellerin was that man with a knife. It doesn't say. But they went to arrest him. He started walking away. They tased him. Didn't work. And so they shot him 11 times. I know the reaction is, well, why did you walk away from police? You're not supposed to do that. Okay, but that's not a capital offense. Is walking away from a police officer a capital offense? Do you think that's worthy of the death penalty? I mean, in this case, you can't walk towards them, right? Because you're in danger, right? You can't sit still. Ask Philando Castile, right? Can't play the Simon Says game. Ask Daniel Shaver, right? What can you do? And you can't even say, I can't breathe with a knee on your neck, okay, for 9 minutes. It's almost as if you can't do anything with police without being shot or strangled to death somehow. It's almost as if we have a problem with police. Weird. I mean, it's almost as if we live in a racist police state. Weird. I know. Maybe we need to do something about that. Maybe we should, consider defunding the police officers. Okay? And, take away some qualified immunity. All right? And, maybe have cops think of, twice about drawing and using their weapons unless they have absolutely no choice. But of course, unfortunately, to some people, this outcome is not the bad thing. No, it's not the bug, it's the feature. Our system is working perfectly as intended, the way that it should, right? Where you can shoot black people in the back for no reason. Oh, great. Okay. Awesome. So, you know what? One thing that frustrates me here is, you guys know the story of Ken and Hannah, right? Young 5-year-old boy shot in the face by a black man, right? So now social media is all over that, right? Right-wing social media, it's everywhere. Oh my God, I can't believe we need outrage, outrage, justice for Ken and Hannah. Why is the media not talking about this? Well, the media did talk about it. That's how you found out. And for two, they tried to compare it to George Floyd, right? So, but it's not even a cop related shooting, though, right? This person was arrested immediately, charged, put in prison. He's probably going to go away for a very long time. But, it took a lot of time to get justice or to even try to start to get justice for George Floyd. And also, the killers of Breonna Taylor have not been charged at all. Yes, fired, but not charged. And then now you have these police officers shooting a man in the back 7 times for breaking up a fight and then walking away to try to get, even though he had nothing to do with this. And so where's the outrage for that? Where's the outrage for any of that stuff? You don't see it from the same people pushing Ken and Hannah, which, by the way, was an absolute tragedy and was something that wasn't supposed to happen. And, yes, he does deserve justice, but so do these other people. And to try to make comparisons in order to push a racist agenda that's anti-Black Lives Matter and basically anti-Black, very racist, it's just very problematic. And it kind of shows you who those people are. And the fact that they're really aligned with the cops because they continue to carry out white supremacy. Yeah. So, all right. That's all I've got time for. We'll get to the Tennessee story tomorrow, because I'm sure we're going to, need some time to explain that one as well. All right. So that's it. Like I said, thank you guys for going around the nation with me today. Please like and share the stream. Also, same to you on Facebook. Please follow us and like our page and, share out the videos and live streams as well. So thank you on Facebook. Thank you to our audience on YouTube as well. Thank you guys. Love you. And remember, change begins with you. Good night, nation. We'll see you guys later.
Tighten up my meat.
Please clap.
Why? Oh, you're getting nervous, man.
I like my meat tight.
Mike Pounds.